Pretty Little Liars, the television series, sometimes deals with disturbing and problematic topics. We've provided a list of content warnings in the episode description. Hello and welcome to Dead Ends. I'm Emily.
I'm Brenton.
And we have a very adorable Herman, if you're watching the video, that you can't really see, but there's an ear.
Oh, there's a little ear just in the bottom left.
In the bottom corner. We'll try to keep him quiet.
Wait,
but
bottom right.
How do mirrors work?
Yeah, I'm like trying to mirror, but I shouldn't.
We have 2 new episodes of Pretty Little Liars for you.
What happened?
Let me tell you, I'm so
My
excited.
God.
Brenton, literally, so yesterday we were watching these kind of late, and he was like, oh, we'll probably only watch one, and then we'll have to watch the next one the next day. And I'm like, okay, we can do that, because I know what happens. But then we finished that mid-season finale. There's a word for that.
Penultimate?
Thank you, yeah.
What is penultimate? Shit.
Conceal your answer now.
Yeah.
But we watched that, and I remember feeling like it was more cliffhangery than it was. So I was like, oh, he's not gonna like feel the urge to have to watch that next one. But then we did. We watched both of them, and I'm very glad because
Boy, howdy.
watching Brenton put together the spoilers. You've already know we're gonna talk about the episode, but put together the Mona is dead.
Yeah, it kept coming up that I was like, wait, Mona's not dead. wait, that's Mona's house. My God, that's Mona's music.
And then he's looking and he's like, that's Mona in the trunk.
Oh yeah, have Mona like I'm like that's her body because I mean
yeah, because no body.
They didn't show the body like she's fine. No, she looks dead.
She does look dead.
Yeah, so I think probably the Fitz reveal was probably harder for you to keep.
Because it's so good.
Yeah. But also this, I feel like because my love for Mona is like slowly grown over the show, that this is like up there with like hard secrets to like not like immediately spill.
Honestly, this one wasn't as hard as the Fitz or Toby being A. Toby being A was the one that I was like, he's gonna shit himself.
It was great. I do think this is probably the biggest game changer of all of them because Toby becomes A. He comes, misdirection. He comes right back. Fitz is A. Oh God, he was doing some really horrible shit.
He's not A. He was just writing a book.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what they think, right?
Yeah.
Or that's what the showrunners wanted you to think. They don't really know that it's Fitz at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But all's forgiven. He's welcome to Thanksgiving. And then, but this is like, Mona's dead.
Mm-hmm. Mona is dead.
Yeah, because I think this is probably the biggest character that has been killed off.
And imagine this too, like this aired in August.
It doesn't come back to January.
Yeah, and you get your one Christmas episode. This year was in December, like instead of a Halloween episode. And then you're just waiting until January.
Yeah. I would be
you spent
incensed.
Like, what is it, 4 months being like, oh my God, A killed Mona, and now
like what's gonna happen? Like
the irony too of A killing Mona when Mona hit Hannah with a car because she knew too much is like, I think, pretty good.
The ballsiness of the move I respect a lot, even if I'm like, why'd you kill off the best character on the show? You know, I would be more incensed coming in here with the other certain things that I won't mention now. I don't really know the details of what happens on the rest of the show and where this goes, but I do know
who's in the Perfectionist.
Yeah, exactly. So if you are a I don't know. I know most people probably listening. It seems like the comment and things don't have already watched the show. So, but if you do happen to it, don't look at future descriptions because it is a spoiler right there.
Oh yeah, and then we were flipping through the next couple episodes, or like through the end of the season.
I shut my eyes.
Yeah, we had to cover Brenton's eyes because I was like, these thumbnails are not, not helping us keep secrets here.
Yeah. Oh my god. Just on a brief tangent, just for streaming, like spoiling things. Like if you, I was watching Clone Wars along with a podcast, A More Civilized Age, and there's just blatant spoilers in the descriptions. They just be like, "This happens to blank," and you're like, "Are you kidding me?" So luckily I didn't encounter those, but it's like similar things. Like you just scroll through and you're like, "Wait, what is that person doing?" So luckily I haven't run into any of those, but this is still, I think, the biggest thing because they killed off. This is the most important character they've killed off, in my opinion. Garrett.
Yeah.
It was big and important, but not Emona.
Well, we thought Toby was dead.
Did we? They found he just like evaporated and left a jacket.
I do think at the time, well, because of his tattoos.
Oh right,
It was his tattoos, and also because he dies in the books, as we know now. I think people were more willing to believe that could have happened.
Right. I can see that. I also do think it's actually, now that we've read the books, it's probably smarter of the show to use that, like, Spencer was just high like that night, instead of like some suppressed anger.
Who among us, hasn't had a little rage?
It's an interesting choice either way, but this truly shocking.
Yes, and I'm very excited for the plot lines that are to come, because I remember being shocked, like just consistently shocked on the second half of this season, because I'm like, like how you think certain things won't happen, like they'll get out of it, or this will turn a different way, and then like when shit lands the other way, you're like, how are they ever going to fix this? Like,
right, especially this particularly, it's like, where do you even go from here? The possibility space is so wide open now.
I think there's like the Lieutenant Tanner scene in one of these episodes that we just watched, where she's basically saying like, there's so, like, if a case gets more complicated the longer you look at it, that like people are like intentionally making it more complicated and harder. And that's how it feels watching the show. At this point, there's so many lies and moving parts and angles and people that you're like, there's no way they can ever neatly tie this up.
Tanner is directly addressing the audience. Which Tanner's I love Tanner. Tanner's fantastic. I love just getting in everybody's business, just making it the worst for everybody. Good stuff. But lots to talk about. Should we jump in?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take off my headphones while I don't want to. I'll come back around.
You're
and
welcome.
Monitor audio levels when I'm not dominating. Right. So before we even get into the Mona episode, we have season 5, episode 11, episode 106. No one here can love or understand me. The friends walk in downtown Rosewood and stop down the street from the police station where they're gonna go, rat on alley. Conveniently, they stop in front of a shop with a bunch of TVs. They all change to a video of Allison, but this is when she's wearing Candy Striper uniform visiting Hannah in the hospital. Not that she was... I have like quibbles on this one. It seems like they jump to conclusions. Like Hannah's just like, oh, it could have been like, that could have been any time. Hannah, like, Allie's was missing for like a long time.
I think they recognize the hospital because I think it's a hospital security footage.
Yeah, but I don't know. I wouldn't think
when else
just directly it would be that specific moment.
The only time Allie visited that hospital, though, she said was when Hannah was in the hospital.
Oh, did Allison directly say that?
I'm pretty sure she was like the only time she came back. Or like, you know what I mean? Like, because she confirmed that it was really her.
Okay, got it.
When else has Allison worn her Candy Striper outfit? They,
See,
they may not be talking, but they know her.
There's so much unaccounted time that I'm like, she could have just been doing this whenever.
That is true. That's fair.
The TV's flashing.
I like that. That's the detail you're really digging into.
Well, yeah. The TV's flash a message from A that says we're all in this together, and it's yeah. And then Spencer goes to smash the windows with a brick, and the friends stop her. The TV's changed to a live video of them, and then one screen. Then it all flashes back to like different other like videos, and then one flashes act normal, bitches. Emily buys coffee at the brew, and there's a sign on the register that says the business and building are for sale. So
Where's
Zach,
Toby gonna rent?
yeah, God knows. Go sleep at the police house, I guess.
How's he gonna get up to his room with his broken leg? I didn't think about that until now.
Where is he living?
Wasn't he he lives above in the apartment, the loft above the brew.
Right. Well, I guess he can still live there while the building's for sale. So he just has to worry about when a new landlord comes in.
Mm-hmm. But how's he getting up the stairs?
Spencer just
Do you think
pulls
there's
him
an
up.
elevator? But she can't.
Yeah.
Spencer's not there.
Oh,
At the end of the
right.
episode.
She's
We'll
arrested.
get to that. Yeah.
Yeah, God knows how he's going to do that. He's just going to be down in the brew for the entire time.
He just lives
It's not ADA compliant. There's only a staircase outside of that. I don't think there was a elevator at all. Okay. Emily brings the coffee over to Spencer. Emily wonders if Allie planted those videos there. Spencer says maybe A is wanting us to think it's Allison. Spencer then ignores a call from Allison. Emily feels bad for defending Allison at all. She's like, it was just a vision I thought of her and wishes that she could go back and fix things with Paige. Emily then also ignores a call from Allison, and we learn that Allison's dad is taking her out of town with the kidnapper released, hence why she's not in this episode. Hannah arrives at the cabin wearing a denim jacket. Okay, there was this. I had to call this out because there was a denim jacket in the previous episode that she wore. It's got a bunch of patches on it, but on the back, it's like this big patch that says Rosewood.
Mm-hmm. It's her.
It's like her
Southside Serpents.
It really is.
Her Serpents jacket.
Her Rosewood. Yeah, I got a Rosewood PA jacket. Caleb is passed out. She kisses him and he jumps up scared. She finds an empty bottle.
When you wake me up
Yeah,
in the morning.
You also see ghosts.
I am not the type of person you want to ever like startle because I don't startle good. And when someone wakes me up, I do look at them.
You're not happy being woken up.
No, and I get a little mean.
Just like Caleb.
Me and Caleb are scared and we're mean.
Both got
I wore
trauma.
black for him today.
Observant. I'm actually so surprised. We'll get to it later that we get a full rundown of like what happened at Riverdale. Not River. Jesus Christ. If only Ravenswood.
How am I gonna fit that in this episode?
Yeah, exactly. So you're telling me they joined a cult? That's only like halfway through.
Who were the babies they put in the fire?
Hannah finds an empty bottle of vodka and she's like, I thought we had a deal to stop drinking. He's like, it helps me sleep. And then Hannah tells him like about not going to the police and then leaves angrily. Fitz answers the door to Emily. Emily tells Fitz about the kidnapper and Allison and asks about like if he knew about Cyrus. He says no. He wonders why the guy would even take a chance getting caught and realizes that Allison must have something worse on him. Emily shows him a photo of Cyrus and Allie at an ATM. Although it's like not proven that it's Cyrus, it's pretty blatant that it's Cyrus. It's like the back of him. Fitz says, "Thank you for trusting me, and I'll look into like the more details on him." And Emily's like, "You're the only one who can actually get me the answers I need." Arya comes home and finds Mike and Mona studying. Mona says, everything about the Manhattan Project is fun, and isn't Oppenheimer dreamy?
I was like, she literally predicted the movie Oppenheimer. She was like, let's have a movie. Let's have a sexy movie. A fun, sexy movie.
And Mike's like, do you think I'm Knuff?
Mike is so Ken.
He's way more Ken in the books.
Oh my god.
He's like
Mona's Barbie.
Mm-hmm. And Mike in the books is when Ken discovers patriarchy.
And horses.
Exactly. Arya treats Mona coldly. Byron then stops by Arya's room. There's a couple of these, like if you watch the episode, that I'm doing like scenes out of order, but I just put them together because it flows a little better in the summary. Byron stops by Arya's room and they talk about Mona and Arya's history. And he says we shouldn't push Mike on this because he'll get defensive. We just have to observe and like make sure that everything's okay. Arya agrees to this. Byron says, hey, we should all, us go out together. We'll go out with your mom and we'll go to a movie and we'll have a good time. And Arya's like, isn't that swell? The friends are all at school and Hannah says Allison may be trying to keep them quiet. Hannah asks Spencer if she still talks to her sober coach, so she can hook him up with Caleb. Spencer says maybe there's someone better he can talk to about quitting drinking. Paige and Emily catch up on the goings on. Paige is like, I don't care if like Sydney was like trying to honeypot you. She's too good of a swimmer to kick off the team. Emily asks if they can catch up soon, and Paige agrees.
Paige is like, we don't have you on the team, and I don't want to lose.
Like I'm sorry. Like priorities. Spencer calls Toby to go talk to Caleb. She finds an envelope from Melissa hidden behind her door. It's a note saying that Melissa's off to the airport, their dad is dropping her off, and that Spencer will know everything soon. Boy, will they. Hannah asks Arya...
This was actually harder for me to keep a secret than the Mona stuff. Was the reveal on Melissa.
Yeah.
I think about this all the time, that video.
It's wild.
Because I'm like, what a choice.
It really is.
To literally leave evidence that you committed a crime, but like
and
also partially incriminate Spencer in it so that Spencer can't turn it in.
And she goes to England so that if Spencer did turn her in, like the UK and US are pretty friendly. You're going to get extradited. Hannah asks Arya and Emily what changed with A that allowed Allison to leave town with her dad when A would have prevented her from doing it before. Makes you think. They wonder if she made a deal with A, and then Tanner stops by to talk to them. Spencer and Toby make out. Spencer catches Toby up on Caleb's drinking. Spencer says that, like, Caleb looks haunted, and Toby's like, it's not the drinking. It's something else. I saw how he looked when he returned from Ravenswood. Tanner reassures the girls that they will catch the kidnapper soon and, like, tell us, the police, if anything is out of the ordinary. She goes to leave and then does a Columbo one more thing and asks the girls who do they think killed Bethany Young. The girls say they haven't thought about it, and, like, Tanner goes, wow, like, really? Girls must be different nowadays.
Oh, yes. Girls love homicide.
Well, they do.
We do.
My favorite murder.
Yeah.
Spencer tells Hannah to get Toby... Spencer tells Hannah, I did this multiple times where I wrote Toby instead of Caleb. Oh.
He's going to fall off the chair.
Yeah. Herman curled up into Emily. Spencer tells Hannah to get Caleb to Apple Rose Grill, and Hannah says Tanner thinks they killed Bethany. And Spencer's like, what? Toby then receives a package for Spencer from a delivery guy in the background. He hands Spencer the envelope, and it's an envelope from Melissa that was sent from the airport. Toby gives Spencer privacy so she can watch the video alone. And then Spencer goes to watch the video that Melissa recorded a couple episodes back. Melissa says she's going back to England. Her dad wanted her to leave the country ever since she told him her secret at the police station. On the night Allison was killed, Melissa saw Spencer walking, like, heard them fighting, and then saw her, like, with a shovel in her hand walking up the drive. She then saw what she thought was Allison's body, wearing the same, as Mike says, crusty yellow tank top. And the thought that Spencer killed her with the shovel. So then it's just like, well, I better, like, cover up for my sister. She pushed the body into the hole and covered her up with dirt. She now realizes that she had found Bethany knocked out and buried her alive.
My God.
Jesus Christ. Spencer, Toby, and Hannah meet at the Apple Rose Grill to intervene on Caleb. Caleb arrives, and Toby immediately is just like, why are you having trouble sleeping? Caleb is pissed off and goes to leave, and Toby's like, Hannah's scared of you. Like, do you want things to stay this way? You need to find the Lord. And then Caleb stays. Emily comes...
I don't know what they taught him in cop school, but I don't think he...
Stand down! We'll get more on cop school next episode. Emily comes out of the back at work and sees Paige all dressed up. Then have an awkward conversation, and Paige leaves.
This is the best Paige's hair look in the entire show. That scene. They did her hair really well. Most of the time, I will say, like, I mean, I think it looks thin. I think the actress was having a lot of issues at the time. But the way they styled it, for once, they did not do her dirty.
Yeah.
Because they do her dirty all the time.
Like the black and white episode we talked about, we're like, I don't know.
Why? Yeah.
Why? Arya arrives for the family date at the old-time movie theater and sees that Ella isn't there, but Mona is. Turns out Ella canceled, and Arya sees Paige enter with a blonde. Hannah and Spencer sit alone while Caleb and Toby talk alone. And Hannah wonders why Caleb can't tell her something, and Spencer projects onto Caleb and is like, maybe he's worried that, like, something he'll, like, tell you would change your opinion of him. And Hannah's like, well, if you love someone, you should tell them. And Spencer's like, damn, this applies to my life. Toby grills Caleb on what he's scared of and if it's from Ravenswood, and Caleb eventually gets mad. He's like, "You know what, man?" and leaves. At the theater, Arya whispers something in Mona's ear as we see a man kill a woman on the screen. Mona then gets up, upset, and exits the movie. Toby feels bad for pushing Caleb away, and he's like, "Spencer, I don't deserve dinner," and goes to leave. Spencer stops him from leaving, and then Toby notices that Spencer's not doing okay and asks her what's up with her and if that has something to do with what Melissa sent her. Spencer tries to cover, but Toby pushes, and then eventually Spencer's like, "I think it was the truth, but I don't know what to do with it." Fitz shows further photos of Cyrus and Allison. This was taken at an ATM off the turnpike a few nights ago. Apparently, Cyrus has a lot of alter egos, but he's only done petty crimes. Emily says Allison has the ability to know what people want or worry about, and she must have pushed on that with him. At the theater, Mona still isn't back, so then Mike's like, "Arya, can you go check on my girlfriend?" Arya finds her in the bathroom crying. Mona says, "You know where to put the knife and where to twist it. Allison underestimated you." She's like, "You're right. Your dad should hate me, and Mike, he deserves someone nice. Maybe I should have dived when I fell off that cliff." And Arya's like, "No, don't you ever say that." Flashback a few episodes. She's like, "I wish Mona died off that cliff."
I'm pretty sure she's like verbatim says that in the girls' bathroom at some point.
So funny. Show the tape. Mona said, this is where Tanner comes in. Well, this contradicts.
And you would say like, "Oh, it's been a while," but really in the timeline, it's been 2 weeks.
Arya's just very forgiving. Right, yeah, exactly.
I mean, she's classified as compassionate.
Right.
Mona classifies her as compassionate.
Yeah, and she's like brave, loyal.
And you, Scarecrow.
You most of all. Mona says, Mona's like, "I've just been trying to protect myself from Allison." Arya asks if this is why she created an army, which heretofore has done nothing. Mona says Allison will come after you next, after Cyrus and New York. And then Arya's like, "What about New York?" New York?
Where?
New York. Mona's like, "Well, I know some things about New York, and I can guess at a few other things." She asks if Arya thinks that Mike really likes him. Spencer then watches Melissa's confession alone again and cries. Arya tells Byron she had a long talk with Mona, but that things might be okay. There's then a knock at the door, and Byron's like, "Oh, that must be Tanner. She called and left a voicemail, and then she wants to talk to me." Caleb goes to pack his bags at the cabin, and then Hannah turns on the light behind him. And she's been there for over an hour and wonders where he's been. She's like, "I can't take care of You can't take care of yourself this time. You need to trust me. If there's no trust, you might as well not even be back here." Byron is mad at Tanner for talking to the girls without the parents around. Tanner wonders why Cyrus would confess but then disappear. Like, what changed his mind? She tells him the police are interested in Arya, and she may or may not be involved in a homicide, and that she definitely is involved with complicating the case. This is where we get the line of, the further you get into a murder case, like, it's supposed to be clear, but it seems to only get more complicated. She's been waiting for one of the girls to tell her the truth, and tomorrow she'll be having an enlightening conversation with one of them. Arya meets up with Emily and Spencer. They're like, "Oh, Allison must be the one going to the police." Emily thinks they can stop her with the ATM photo of Cyrus and tells them about meeting with Fitz. Caleb tells Hannah the plot of Ravenswood. Apparently what happened afterwards was they all took the soul jars from Raven's office, which is a lot of them. There's like
Raymond's.
so many. Raymond's office. There's so many. There's like multiple shelves, and they're like small jars. And they released them to the river where Miranda died. After that, the woods lit up with fireflies and then drifted away, and Mrs. Grunwald called it the Great Ascendance. No more messages from demons after that, and Miranda disappeared. Hannah's like, "You helped her." And Caleb's like, "Look at this Ouija board. We play it as a game, but there's a whole other world out there."
Where do you think that Ouija board came from?
I know.
Just like it was at the
just, like,
cabin.
got it.
It's Jenna's.
Yeah. It's Jenna's. That revelation is really colors everything differently. This changes everything. And Caleb is scared of his dreams and that Miranda will show up in them and tell him he messed up. Hannah's like, "We've both changed, but we'll get through this together." They make out, and we see the Ouija board piece move and point toward goodbye. So I guess Miranda was like still hanging out there, just couldn't be seen. Spencer shows Arya and Emily the Melissa video. Bethany was wearing the same clothes as Allison, so there must have been a plan from the beginning that Bethany would take Allison's place. Emily says, let's call Allison. Spencer goes to make a call, but it cuts away before we know who she's going to call. Caleb is asleep, and Hannah also makes a call, and the camera pulls out outside the cabin as the bug zapper around is surrounded by fireflies and ominous music. One thing on this, that doesn't seem ominous to me. It's like,
No.
oh, they're just the souls of people, and like Mrs. Grunwald.
They're free.
Yeah. So like Caleb's whole hang up on this is like, are you just upset because Miranda's gone and you like had
And
complicated
he was
feelings?
to take care of her, and instead she died, and he couldn't bring her back. I think it's because he didn't bring her back. Because remember, that was the plan, was to bring her back.
Yeah. I was also wondering if this was around him like falling in love with her.
I don't think he ever really like. It was a weird relationship.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think canonically she went off with older Caleb.
Oh yeah. But then what happened to the Miranda that was his partner?
I know. It seemed like they were one and the same. It's like Miranda got reincarnated and Caleb was just like, well, I just happen to look the same.
How does A have the photo of Allie as a candy striper?
Oh, A can get everything. You mean the videos?
Yeah.
I assume that A is like, okay, I need to now start to backtrack because apparently she went and visited all the friends, like the Ghost of Christmas Past and Future, and I don't know what the other one is.
Present.
Present?
Yeah.
Present, past, future?
Yeah.
Is there a present?
Yeah, that's when he goes and he finds out that Tiny Tim's family is like splitting the one piece.
Oh, okay. Classics of cinema. I assume that
I don't think that's actually from that, but you know.
Oh right, no.
But it's that idea.
It's the bread loaf in that one, and then the one it's the Jack and the Beanstalk where they do the pea.
Is it the Jack and the Beanstalk, or is it the one where he gets rid of his harmonica and she gets rid of her hair clip or whatever?
No, because it's also there with Goofy and Donald.
Okay. That's what everyone listens to, this Pretty Little Liars podcast.
There's like so much to talk about, and we're like these old Disney shorts. I think A is just like, well, she visited all these people. I need to find this. This is good because this is the proof that Allie was alive.
My only thought was putting the A in the ADHD. That's my vibe today. When did A get so high tech?
Oh, I mean, A's always been high tech. It just seems like it's really tilting over now.
Well, we knew Mona A was high tech. I mean, in the next episode, we get one of my favorite lines. Mona, your software slaves.
Caleb just like on the cusp of slang.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Was the TV thing
He's an LGBTQ icon.
from A or was it from Allie?
Which one?
The TV that we all stick together. We all burn together. Is that
well,
A or
aren't they
Allie?
one of the same?
Are they one and the same?
Now that it's like really pointing toward it, I'm like, well, I don't think so anymore. But I think it was A. It either is. Well, I'm falling more toward on the camp that it was Alice or A making them think it was Allison.
Okay.
Although Allison really has been up to even more worse shit than we thought.
She's a shenanigans kind of lady.
Mm-hmm. She's gathering people at a farm. They're wearing muumuus and dancing around the fire with a tambourine.
Sounds fun. I did write down Arya's outfit in one of the scenes. I think it's at the school. Is like a fringe t-shirt crop top. Like the sleeves are fringe.
Mm-hmm.
It's got leopards on it. And then she's wearing a black skirt with yellow lightning bolts.
And
it's like a skater style skirt, which I used to love those. Those are some of my favorites back in the day. And
she moves fast.
I just truly believe that might be a true, like, we are in 2014, almost 2015. Like, if you want to think about like one outfit besides like a statement necklace and a weird colored top and a sock bun, that's it. That's the vibe. It's like not quite grungy and it's not quite like girly and it's like twee, but not. It's like edgy twee.
Yeah, that is.
It's a fit.
She's doing edgy manic pixie dream girl.
That's a good my favorite part of this is that Caleb is haunted.
So haunted.
He
so just haunted. Can't. Well, it would freak me out that he's like, there's another side.
Yeah. Well, so I also my other notes on that are Toby is like, I know you're haunted and all caps. And then Caleb giving us the plot to Ravenswood. They're the ending, I should say. Thank you.
Yeah, I was like surprised that it's just like, okay, this is what we were gonna do.
Which
Or
I think
here's a wrap up for you.
here's an ending, yeah. And I think it's a nice like don't mess with the veil warning. Thanks, Caleb.
Totally. And we get a little Grundwald shout out. So
And a goodbye from Miranda, I assume. That's what I assume the Ouija board is.
But it's like very again
Ominous.
super ominous. I don't get the music choice doesn't match at all because I'm like, oh,
It's just Miranda.
Yeah, they like passed on, and Miranda's like, thank you, I can now move on. Is that how I take that?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna go be with your ancestor.
Now to the more interesting part.
Yeah, do it.
Ready? What do we think about Melissa bearing Bethany Young?
Oh my God. If your family members aren't willing to cover up a body for you, are they even family?
Everything Melissa does is to protect Spencer.
Exactly. You were really like pointing me to the
I was trying to get you to like go there or like to at least consider it.
I did like last episode. I was like, oh yeah, I think she's like trying to do something. Like whatever she's doing, she thinks she is doing for Spencer and for the right thing. But my God, what a reveal. It offers up so many complications too. Like Bethany was wearing the same thing as Allison, so it made it look the same.
Why was she wearing that?
Right. Like there's some sort of like parallel thing that like someone is obviously setting up Bethany to die in Allison's place that was up before, and they would have known what Allison was wearing like that evening, I guess. Like there couldn't have been enough time in the day to really, they would have, just to be able to have that like on hand and ready. But like there was a plan to kill Allison that night. Like someone was trying to like literally swapping out bodies, or like they weren't going to kill Allison, but they wanted people to think that Allison was dead.
I don't know.
Bananas.
Where do you think they got all those tank tops?
And also, actually, the other thing, right? Where did they get all those tank tops? This is sale at Ross.
Yeah, Allison's clothes comes from Ross.
Actually, I was thinking, it's like one of those commercials from Old Navy. There's a bunch of people like running about, like doing like activities and stuff in the like yellow tank top. Well, I mean, they could have gotten it at Ross to like a little like knockoff or something from what Allison had. That got it from the boutique down the street. But where was I? There was one more like complication thing. Oh, that it was Bethany was not supposed to be buried. Melissa unwittingly killed someone when they weren't supposed to be killed.
Yeah, and who hit Bethany?
And also, Melissa, maybe check a pulse.
Well, and why? So did someone hit Bethany in the same way that they hit Allie? Because Allie got hit in the back of the head.
Right. So I guess it must have been the same. But we don't know. We don't know, actually.
I don't remember. I think there's blunt force trauma on the back of the head. I think that was one of the things in the autopsy. Because remember, they have the autopsy.
Right.
And they thought it was Allie's autopsy. But it was Bethany's. Because that's when the girls wore the candy striper outfits.
Yes, of course. It just passes around. It's also very funny that the Black Hoodie or whoever folds up a candy striper uniform, and then we get the video of this time. So is that supposed to be back in the past, and that was Allison using the candy striper uniform, visiting Hannah?
Or was it them getting the footage?
Wait, next episode?
The like footage from inside the was A getting
the hospital
yeah.
suite. Oh, okay.
Or was it Allie?
That's more likely. Yeah, exactly. Oh God, I forgot I had this. That was such a fun time visiting Hannah after she got run over.
I love that. What a memory.
Yeah.
Is Mona honest about how she feels about Arya's dad hating her? Also, what is Arya's insult? My dad hates you. That's what she said to make Mona cry.
I know. It was whatever she said must have. It
was alluded to that. Because Mona says that.
And something about Mike, and it just rattled Mona.
Yeah, that my father doesn't like you. Like, he's pretending to like you.
Yeah, my father also
so
hates
that
you
Mike will
too.
leave you eventually, basically.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't.
Does Mona truly like Mike?
Arya's mean. I think Mona does. Like, she's wounded when Hannah even like twists the knife on it. In the previous episode, Like when Hannah's like, oh, like Mike knows what you're up to all the time. And like Mona's like clearly upset by this. So I think there is like actually like, oh, I like you, Mike. It started out as me just trying to like rattle your sister, but it grew into something more.
Also, my final note on this section is Lieutenant Tanner talking to Byron. She's basically threatening the parents. But like, if these girls are running circles around her, a cop who investigates these things, do they not think that they are running marathons around their parents? Like, just absolutely.
I think Tanner, I give Tanner a little bit more credit on this one because it's kind of like shaking the tree. So it's just to like get them rattled enough by like putting pressure on the parents, and even if the parents put pressure on their kids, like some way that like would make the kids more rattled, so they'd have more potential to go after her. And I think also dropping the nugget that one of their friends is gonna go to the police station is also trying to ferret them out to try and like, well, you should also come forward. Like someone else is gonna give you up. It's the prisoner's dilemma where there's two prisoners, and it's like if you confess, you get like reduced sentence, but the other person is going to jail, or you both say nothing and you get like a specific prison sentence, like a longer prison sentence.
Psychological torture like that will come up again in the show, so think about it.
Isn't that interesting? Especially when there's cops around. But yeah, I mean, it's probably not going to be deployed by them.
Well, unfortunately, they made Toby a cop, so.
Yeah.
Are you ready to move to that episode?
I'm trying to think if there was anything else that really stuck out here.
It wasn't like, it was a good information episode, but it's not like the most, and it's got the really cool scene at the movie theater. I like that movie theater.
Oh, yeah.
I want to go on
and
a
everybody's
date to that
dressed up. Like,
yeah.
That's fun.
We should go there. Where is it?
I know.
How do we go?
Yeah. What also happened so did Paige have just a bad date?
Yeah, she's just like, oh, it wasn't for me.
Right. She's like, I'd rather be with Emily. And then she's just waiting for Emily to come by and be like, I'm ready to give it another shot. And she's like, not another word.
So that's in the next episode.
Right. Yeah, I guess there's not much else around this one that I really have to say. So might as well get to the next one with all the good shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we kind of talked around all the Bethany. Yeah. All right. Let's roll. Unless you need a break. All right, let's keep going.
I can't get up if I wanted to.
Season 5, Episode 12, Episode 107, Taking This One to the Grave. Title card, Thanksgiving Day. It's another murder. We see police putting up caution tape around a house. Whose house is this? We find out. Hannah, Emily, Aria, and Fitz look upset outside the house. Police ask to speak to Hannah to take her statement, but she's too upset to talk. They all get texts that says, it's your fault, all your fault, signed A. Not very witty. Then, 36 hours earlier, Allison is at the police station being interrogated with a lie detector. Holbrook is on the other side of the glass, but Tanner isn't there. Immediate red flags for me on Holbrook and where the hell is Tanner? A record plays in a room that has 1 million dolls on the wall, and we see that it's Mona in her room. Her mom comes in saying she has company. She goes downstairs to see all the friends there, minus Allison. Therefore, going forward on this episode, when I say the friends, I mean back to the core four. Hannah asks for help, for her help, and they find out that Allison is at the police station. They don't think Allison will tell them the truth, they tell Mona that they found out that Allison's at the police station. They don't think afterwards Allison will tell them the truth about what she tells the police, and they want Mona to help them find out what she says. Allison continues to be interrogated. They ask where the last place she saw Spencer Hastings was on the night she got kidnapped, quote unquote. Mona doesn't want to ruffle Allison's feathers and like do this for them, and she's like, what'd she do? Like, Allison would do something horrible to try and stop me. Spencer asks if she's really that scared of her, and Mona's like, aren't you? Isn't that why you're all here? And they're kind of like, oh, damn, good point. Mona apologizes for taking her Allison anger out on them when she was A. Hannah stays behind while the other three go to leave. Spencer worries about being an accessory to Melissa's murder. Mona's mom then brings Hannah some cookies. Mona's mom actually has a name. We don't hear it here, but Leona. Played by Sydney Perry, who, looking at her IMDb or like credit history, Seems like has been in a few like guest roles on like soap operas and things like All My Children and Beverly Hills 90210. So, you know, pulling in a heavyweight for this. Mona's mom brings Hannah some cookies, and Mona says, "I'll see you at school." Hannah leaves, or Mona leaves to go upstairs, and her mom asks Hannah if, like, since Allison's back, is everything starting again? Upstairs, Mona calls someone and says, "Send out a code A. She's plotting something big." Mona arrives at the brew, worrying someone was following her. She's concerned that no one's there, and Lucas turns the corner and he's like, "They aren't coming. Allison got to all of them and convinced them that she's a saint and that you're crazy Mona." Mona then tells the friends the next day that Allison was put to a polygraph test. Mona supposes that Allison was maybe lying to herself about what actually happened so that she can pass the lie detector test. She's doing it because she's bored now and the girls won't play with her. And then Mona goes through, she assembled the perfect friend group to like try and like manipulate. Ario's compassion, Emily's loyalty. I forget Hannah and Spencer.
Spencer's brains.
And then I forget what Hannah's
like she idolized her. So it was like that aspect. And it's for the ideal group for a sociopath to manipulate, allegedly.
Mona also thinks that Allison stole the game from her and is now A. Spencer's like, if Mona's right, then Allison went to the cops to say that she's innocent and that all the rest of them are guilty. Mona's like, I can find out what she told the cops, and I'm going to do this to help you. But like, this is also to help me get through senior year. I need like backup, and no one can know that I'm actually helping you. Cindy and Mindy from Mona's group, they're the twins. They then come into the school bathroom as the rest all leave, and they look at each other knowingly. Paige runs into Emily in the school halls. Emily's like, we never had our talk. And Paige is like, I'm tired of talking, and kisses her. Mona sees her mom at the school. Supposedly she was there to drop off food for the holiday drive. I also wonder if Mona's mom is just concerned about her daughter. Mona rounds the corner and sees Allison talking with a group of girls looking all smug at her. And then as Mona walks by, all the girls look meanly at Mona. Arya and Fitz make pumpkin pie. Apparently he's invited the Montgomerys for Thanksgiving, much to my disgust. Spencer looks through an old photo album with Allison, or not, an old photo album that has photos of Allison. Toby comes in his Hot Cops uniform. Spencer and Toby flirt and make me very uncomfortable.
There's no snap pants, though.
No, I kept waiting for the boombox and the music to start. Why isn't he stripping? Spencer gives him a pocket watch with the engraving, "You're my once upon a time." Lucas visits a police station. He's like, hey, I'm here for the high school liaison program. Can I get an application? And they go to do that. He then plugs something into the desktop. We then see Mona's in the police station bathroom, and she hacks in and copies all the files. Lucas, I'm in. Emily decorates her house for Christmas. It's a great scene. I really love this scene. And has roped in Hannah and Caleb and Paige to help like set it up. Caleb is like wondering like what's wrong with Emily, and then Hannah gives probably the best line in the entire show. Read her boobs. This girl loves Christmas. Because Emily's wearing a shirt that it says "This girl loves Christmas" with 2 thumbs up. Hannah gets a call from Mona, and like pretends that it's her mom and like walks away from Caleb. And Emily tells Caleb that Christmas has a way of bringing her dad home, and so that's why like I love Christmas so much. It's like the saddest reason. Hannah comes back and is like, oh, I was just talking to my mom. She needed to get these types of cranberries. And then Emily's like, I thought you always made the other types of cranberries for Thanksgiving, accidentally blowing her cover. And then Caleb's like, okay, what's going on? The friends watch Mona watch the Allison interrogation. Allison says she saw Spencer at her house that night, and that she pushed Spencer to make her angry, and that Spencer was on amphetamines that night, but didn't know that she was taking them before then, and never spoke about her addiction afterwards. Allison then tells the police that she had nothing to do with Bethany's murder. We see Holbrook visit Allie at her home. He's like, I shouldn't be here without Tanner, but I wanted to tell you in person, and we don't hear what they talk about. The friends plus Mona all find that Allison didn't say anything incriminating. Mona says it's the questions that the police were asking that highlight what they're actually after. Caleb then walks in, and Mona's like, don't worry, I called him in for help. And he's like, your software slays, by the way.
Brenton missed it the first time, and I made him go back.
You're like, hold on.
It's like, you've just missed That and the Cody code is just like
It's so good. Yeah, they go back and forth. It's like the two tech geniuses from. It's like they had like NCIS and NCIS LA. They're like the procedural nerds are here, and they're here to nerd out together. And Holbrook sent the DA an affidavit that says Allison is no longer a suspect. They think that Spencer killed Bethany to gain favor with Allison. They then submitted the affidavit after seeing Bethany's Radley file, so Mona wants to know what the cops know. Spencer wants them all then to go back to Radley to investigate, even though she's like, you guys don't have to help me, it's fine. And they're all like, Spencer, we're in it together. Caleb hacks into Radley, and Hannah is they go for their spy mission. Hannah and Caleb are in the car, in the van. Caleb hacks in, and Hannah's on the mic telling them all that the mission is a go. Spencer and Mona sneak in wearing nurse uniforms. Spencer gets text from Toby about his graduation ceremony that night, and Spencer's like, I need to go to that. And Mona's like, hey, I wouldn't tell like my boyfriend who's graduating from cop school that you just broke into Radley. Like, damn, Mona's got this right. She's not like, do you really want to date a cop when you're like doing this kind of stuff? Do you really want to date a cop? Emily calls Paige on the phone and tells her she's about to go to sleep. Like, I'll talk to you later. Good night. Allison then surprises her. It is like, I was surprised to get a voicemail from you. Last time we spoke, you made your feelings crystal clear. Allison wonders why she's even there. Emily is, we find out Emily is keeping her there during the mission at Radley from a text message from Hannah. Emily tells Allison to wait, like, I don't want things to be like this. Allison is facing away from Emily, and we see her crack a smile and then turn around and look back concerned. Evil.
That was a really good scene.
It is a really good scene.
I think that's really well done to show that, like, Allie is still playing Emily.
She's really, and Sasha Pierce is really good at it. We find out that Arya is volunteering at the art class at Radley and knocks over a jar of paint to distract one of the nurses as Mona and Spencer steal the room keys. Caleb and Hannah see Officer Holbrook pull up, and Hannah calls him in there over the mics. We got a red alert, red light. And they're like, huh? They're like, the thing that goes on top of a car. And they're like, oh, shit. Holbrook then stops in front of Arya, looking all smug. He's like, I didn't know you work here. When did it all start? The lies, the cover-up, and the murders. Oh, I mean your volunteer program. Did you volunteer before they found Bethany's body? And Arya's like, well, you sound curious. Should I call my parents? Good move. He's like, no, not yet. And was your volunteer work Spencer Hastings' idea? Caleb finds a list of top colleges that Hannah wrote down like on a note, and he's like, what's all this? And she's like, well, it turns out I got like a really good score on my SAT. Or, well, first she's like, whatever that test is that they make us taste, the essay something. And she's like, well, I got a really good score on it. And the counselor like even thought like I cheated, which is like, I do love that Hannah is canonically smart and that everybody just thinks she's like dumb as rocks, except for Caleb,
Yeah, Caleb knows she's smart.
Mm-hmm. And Caleb looks so proud of her.
It's a very cute scene.
I really like this scene, yeah. I'm glad that at least the show knows, because I feel like Hannah doesn't act dumb, but I could see the show being.
You typecast that type of girl in quotes into a dumb.
Yeah, they don't misunderstand the character. Is what I'm trying to get at. Mm-hmm. Emily goes to make Allison some tea, but Allison stops her and looks at her phone and is like, "Oh, what's this text from Hannah? Like keeping me here? Like, and also I knew you were lying when you said your mom was out shopping. She never shops at the last minute." Pam is tightly wound. She would never do something like this off the cuff. And is like, I must be A. Am I right, Emily? And Emily's like, well, are you? And then Allison is like, well, that was quite a performance from you, and leaves and doesn't answer. Paige pulls up to Emily's and sees that the twins, Cindy and Mindy, are waiting in a car outside of Emily's house. She then sees Allison leave. She gets into the car, but she doesn't get into the passenger seat. She makes one of them sit in the back, and she takes the driver's seat. I was like, that's such a good little detail. Paige then gets in her car to follow. Mona and Spencer find a box for the Radley box files on Bethany. Mona then bags all the tapes from the box. Spencer asks to see if there's one from August 8th. Spencer puts it in the tape recorder. Bethany is like, I thought like she actually really liked me. Turns out she's talking about Mrs. De Laurentiis. She was having this detail is just like, because there's so many other things to get to, that this detail is just like glossed over. Turns out that Mrs. De Laurentiis was having, not glossed over, but I mean, they're not as made as big of a deal of. Mrs. De Laurentiis was having an affair with Bethany's dad. Bethany wonders if Allison is like her mom too, and they're like, oh, Allison knew Bethany. We then see Toby heading out for his graduation. Spencer, Mona, and Arya get back into Hannah's car. Spencer gets a call from Toby, but the call keeps breaking up, and then Toby gets hit by another car. He's calling everybody driving. Everybody, keep your eyes on the road. Don't text drive. Thanksgiving Day. The friends are all in the brew. Toby is in a wheelchair. He's all right, but he's in a cast. Paige runs in and is like, I saw Allison drive off with Cindy and Mindy to a farm with a bunch of people. She's building an army. Again, this is going to have no material impact on anything whatsoever. I do not know why this show is just like, these girls are building an army, and then we'll never see them again. They just did like a flash mob, and they're like, and then they ran off, and that was all they did.
I'm sorry if you don't want to do a street performance in New York, but some of us live for that.
Well, I'm not saying that, like, you can't do that. I'm just saying, why are they scared?
Because we've defunded the arts.
Oh. Who knows what wild art students without funding are going to do. Might come at you with a paintbrush. Paige says she's building an army of her own. Holbrook then runs in with the cops and is like, Spencer Hastings, you're under arrest. Mona sits at home reviewing the files and listening to the August 8th tape. Her mom asks her to help pack the car and then drives off. Mona hears rustling in the bushes outside, and then we see a hooded figure with blonde curls poking out of the hoodie, and Mona like approaching the house as Mona locks the door. Mona does not see the person in the hoodie. Fitz arrives at the Montgomerys with pies. Spencer is still being processed at the station. Arya gets a call from Mona. Mona's like, Allison lured Bethany to Rosewood because she knew about the affair between her mom and her father, and Bethany's father. We then see someone pick Mona's lock. The blonde hooded figure enters. Mona tells Arya that Allison is A, and now I can prove it. Arya is like, tells Fitz, like, we gotta pack up and go. We gotta find this out. Mona looks in a mirror and says to herself, game over, Allison. I win. She then hears a board creak. The hooded figure enters her room. The friends plus Fitz enter the house. There's blood all over the walls and broken glass. A key detail here, this is all over the downstairs where Mona was upstairs. There's a scream, and then the scene fades to the...
well, that's when Hannah goes upstairs. And then
right, Hannah goes... Yeah, sorry. There's this, as the friends are investigating the house, Hannah screams. The scene fades back to the scene from the start of the episode. We see Allison is also there, smiling, and like Lucas is also there outside the house. You know, it's like one of those classic scenes in the show where there's like a bunch of police line up and ambulances.
No calling outside of this party.
Exactly. No calling on this one. And then Allison is also there smiling. Holbrook talks to the news and says there was no body, but that the amount of blood like we found on the scene must mean that Mona Vanderwall is dead. Moment of silence. Allison then leaves. The scene transitions to Emily's front yard and the main end of the manger. Emily is so Catholic. She's so Catholic. The hooded figure then replaces the Jesus doll with a Mona doll. So everybody, when you're opening up presents, spending time with the family, remember the reason for the season, Mona Vanderwall.
I should have gotten you a Camp Mona jacket for Christmas.
The hooded figure then opens up the trunk of their car and puts the doll next to Mona's body. The hooded figure then puts a picture of the four friends in a snow globe. The end.
What's Holbrook's angle?
He's
interviewing Allie alone. I mean, they just didn't want to pay to have both cops in both episodes, I assume. But
yes,
that's my assumption.
I also think that's why Mona's dead. I'm like, they didn't want to make her a star, did they? Janelle Parrish is a star. God damn it, I say back into the past. Cast her now. I actually am fully convinced that we're gonna get a Holbrook heel turn.
Okay, what do you mean? That he's a bad?
Yeah, that he's a bad guy.
He's a baddie?
Mm-hmm. Because he's acting like Tanner isn't there, and they make a note of that. And he makes a note of it multiple times. So I think something might have happened to Tanner. I could be history's fool when we come back from the break and Tanner's just fine. But and that Holbrook acting all like smug and things like that is I don't know, maybe he is like working with Allison or something to help.
No, working with Allison.
Another bad cop.
Okay.
Because like to completely clear of blame and then go that Spencer killed Bethany to gain favor with Allison. It's such a wild conclusion to jump to.
Mm-hmm.
Spencer Hastings is erratic and just wanted to impress Allison, so like killed the girl who her mom was having an affair with. So
Dad.
Or dad. Or wait.
The girl whose dad was having
an affair with Allison's mom.
Yeah. How do we feel about Mona teaming up with the girls? Do we think it was smart of them to bring in Mona?
Absolutely. I mean, telling them they should have been doing this for a lot longer. They should have been doing this back in season 3. Or wait, season 4 is where we get the season 4 is the info dump.
Yeah.
They should have been doing it when she's in Radley. Immediately, we understand that you came after us, but all is forgiven.
Mm-hmm. Was Allie the red coat that Mona saw at Radley then? If Mona's like, she took the game from me? Do you remember that scene?
Oh, right. At the end of season 2. Wait, no, she goes, I did everything you asked for.
Mm-hmm.
Asked of me. I don't know if that's the same as taking the game. I feel like taking the game means that she wasn't working for her and it was stolen from her.
Mm.
So I wonder if.
So was it ever really Mona's game then?
It doesn't sound like it was, but I don't think she would have been working directly with Allison. Mm. I think it could have been a Cece, and that Mona didn't know that Cece was helping out Allison.
Would Mona have known Cece then?
Weirder things happen.
I can't remember the timeline. Let's talk about
probably not like at school, but
Lucas. Lucas is back.
Yeah, every time he makes me burst out laughing. I'm like, he's such a nothing character.
I told you, like, Lucas is just gonna, like, every time he shows up, you're like, oh my god, it's Lucas. Like, and you're not excited about it, and you're not sad about it. You're just kind of like, he's here.
I guess he's back. Sorry,
Do you think, why is he the only one that remained loyal to Mona? If Allie messed with everyone else, but she was able to win them all back over, did she just not try with Lucas?
Oh, maybe. Or maybe Lucas is just... I think Lucas has every reason to be skeptical of her, much like Mona. He's like, you made my life hell. I'm not gonna, like... I know how horrible you are. And Lucas has also been working on the other side with Mona on these things, where, like, Cindy and Mindy are just, like, people they brought in off the street when they handed flyers out.
That's true.
So they don't completely know the history. They're probably learning secondhand from Mona at their meetings because she's assembling an army. Do you understand the gravity of this situation?
Mona was assembling an army, and now Allie is. It feels very Volturi.
Yeah, right. As in they do nothing.
Why is Ezra invited to Thanksgiving dinner?
I don't know. They're just like, well, we might as well make the best of it. Byron's invited back, so why not Fitz? You mean the... I run down his list. But why?
Mm-hmm.
Why exactly? Ella's just like, well, we're getting... Maybe Byron's like, we're getting good with Mona and we're getting good with Fitz.
Everyone's being forgiven.
Exactly.
Have you noticed that it's really just like everyone that hurt Arya, though, that needs to be forgiven? Mona hurt Arya. Byron hurt Arya. Fitz hurt Arya.
Really? Okay, this is another thing. Apparently there's a meme going around on Twitter that was like, don't have a Thanksgiving for your friends and family, have a Thanksgiving for your ops. So these are all people that should be your enemies.
Toby's already a cop. How is that so fast?
What I said last night was like, oh, what did he go to, like, University of Phoenix? Like,
I looked it up, and I think the shortest police academy is still like 12 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's short. Like, most of them are like 18 to 30 weeks, which is still, I don't know if that's long enough to... The
problem with the police has never been a lack of training. The So Toby's just like, I went like online and I got like a degree, like it made me think of like me taking the online class to get my food service certification.
Or like I did a CPR first aid one. Excuse me, I choked on air.
It was just like a night.
I literally just did it online, and I was like, if I ever have to give someone CPR, I don't know what that's supposed to feel like.
Right. And then like oh God, you didn't have to like even do compression.
It was all online.
So maybe it does make more sense that Toby went to online cop school.
But I don't know. Also, how would he get in? Like, his girlfriend is literally like someone there, like, investigating.
We could use someone like you on the force.
Yeah, he seems a little too close to the crime.
I know. It seems like you've had a tumultuous history lately. You're perfect.
And I mean, I'm sure he did some crimes while he was working for A.
Right. He's reformed now. There's a feel-good story there for you.
Why are there no cameras in the Rosewood police station? Because Lucas is just popping that little thing in for Mona. They're always doing shit in the police station. And I'm like, there have to be security cameras, right?
Mm-hmm. And there's usually in like a heist or something like that, it's, you got to know they have to be close. But notice that like there's no reason given. Mona's just in the bathroom. She's just like moving away, doing her hacking. I know there wouldn't be like cameras in the back room, but you're exactly right that Lucas is like.
But Lucas plugging the thing in, yeah.
Blatantly. It's like a big thing. It's got like an antenna. It's like he's plugging in like a Wi-Fi card.
Uh-huh. Emily decorating for Christmas is me. That is my kind of energy. I respect it.
Yeah.
She's my girl.
It might be my favorite scene of the entire episode because it's also the scene where it's the only time that Emily is like her mom.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's like very particular about how everything goes.
Snowy the blow mold has to go somewhere specific.
Mm-hmm. And then like Pengy and Pinguino like have to go in certain spots. Like it's very funny that they like have that tie back around. That it's like, oh, there he is. She's acting like Pam, and not like a
that
total.
She's very particular about a certain thing.
Exactly. It's great. And just her like unabashed love of just, you don't get a lot of like just like joyous scenes like that from times because there's like a lot of stuff happening.
No.
But like I said, she's so Catholic.
Very Catholic.
There's a little Hermes in the screen. Do you want to say hi, Herm?
He really does look like he's trying to get to the mic.
Mm-hmm. Do you have something to say? Emily would give good pets.
She would give good pets. Allie's setting up Spencer. What do you think of that?
The police are idiots.
Well, yeah, I mean, funny. Toby went to school for 2 days.
Right, exactly. It's such there's nothing about that explanation for why Spencer would kill someone that like works for me. For the police being like, here you go. But it seems like Allison is pointing out the weakest one of the bunch.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of there's ways to tie this back.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else was asleep in the barn.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like the easiest way to like cast blame. And it does seem like they're really setting up here that Allison has completely cut ties with all of them. And in that time, a day, maybe? I mean, compressed time frame, again, is what we're dealing with. She had 6 hours and has now converted everybody at the school.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't really seen her like do much of the school other than when she arrived. But apparently has been working really hard to make everybody like her again. But where was I going with that? Yeah, I think Spencer is the most vulnerable to be able to like point at thing. And I think it's actually probably going to be, this is also the benefit of knowing that there's another one and a half seasons ahead of us of the show. So I don't immediately go, well, Allison must be like A. I think she's using Spencer like a Cyrus. Yeah, I can get you off. Like eventually it won't stick. But, like, we just need to divert the blame for a while. Yeah.
So, Mona got into schools. Spencer hasn't heard back from any. Hannah, where do you think Hannah's going to go?
Oh, that's a good question.
Also, why would Mona get into schools for being a bully, but Spencer can't get into schools for being a victim?
Uh-huh. They don't take that into consideration. They're just looking at your transcripts. Mona's like, I built an entire enterprise where I monitored all these people and I was able to target them with specific things.
Yeah, but Spencer got a golden orchid.
But that wasn't,
But
She lied about it.
we know that. They don't.
Did she go through and get the award?
I think so.
Okay. Well, but I mean, Mona set
Or
up.
she at least gets nominated. I don't remember if she goes all the way.
Mona set up. She's like, I also recruited people to an army. I like I said, like set up this whole spy system, and they're like, how entrepreneurial.
That is true.
That's her volunteer hours was menacing.
Cindy and Mindy, what's going on there?
I am. They're working for Allison. Obviously, I think that's all it is. Is that Allison has them under her thumb. It is so good that Allison is just like, no, move to the back. I'm driving.
It is really funny. What do we think about Mrs. De Laurentiis' affair? And what kind of relationship do you think Allie and Bethany had?
And who else was Mrs. De Laurentiis stepping out with?
Mrs. De Laurentiis was not happy in her marriage, and she was making it everyone's problem.
I don't know what to make of this. It's well, specifically Mrs. De Laurentiis and Bethany's dad, because it's like Bethany's not a character; she's a plot point. She's a MacGuffin right now. I don't know if I'm technically using the term MacGuffin right there. I'll just revert back to she's a plot point. So what the? I guess it just gives us motivation, but like, I guess just Mrs. De Laurentiis, like you said, was just unhappy in her marriage and just making everybody's problem. In terms of, I think Allison. I wonder if Allison blamed Bethany somehow or Bethany's family for ruining her family. That she like found out about this and then made it Bethany's problem, and probably said really horrible things to the girl in inpatient care. That's just my guess. But the connection I can't make now is the full master plan of disguising Bethany as Allison.
Mm-hmm.
That one's a tougher nut to crack right now, and I don't know. I'll make some guesses in a little bit.
I'm not 100% sure if I remember.
Okay. Like I said, I'll be making some guesses soon.
Perfect.
The content.
Who is the
must
A who comes to kill Mona? Or do you want to save that for Theory Corner?
Oh, yeah. Like, who's that person? Maybe I'll save that for Theory Corner and just start crafting some things.
And then finally, no body, no death. But then we get a body.
Mm-hmm.
Is Mona dead?
Unfortunately, Plague Died Knowledge, I will abstain from this one.
Okay. Well, I think then you can say what it is. Unless
they do a like Twin Peaks where her cousin comes to town and she looks so similar. Isn't that interesting? And she just starts going, call me Mona.
Well, you do know that the twin twist in the later books with the Allison and Courtney thing is that Allison had taken over, or Courtney had become Allison or whatever.
Oh, and then when...
and took over as her.
Got it, and started using her name. So maybe there's a Mona twin out there.
Assuming she's not dead, why is there so much blood?
Yeah, they really rough up the scene. And like you meant, I'm like, oh, well, I mentioned it last night. I'm like, well, it could be like just like pig's blood or something all over. And you're like, no, they were able to ID that it was Mona's. I'm like, God damn, I don't know. Blood bags?
Of her own blood?
Maybe.
How'd she acquire blood bags of her own blood?
She's just been slowly storing them up for this exact thing. She goes and gives blood and then like has her cookie
steals
and stuff.
It back?
She doesn't. No. I didn't like actually mean that she's like going and donating.
I was like,
you don't need this. Can I take that home with me? I meant she was like,
you've been watching too much Vampire Diaries.
This is exactly where I was getting the blood bag thing from. But
robbing the blood bank.
Yeah, I don't think she's actually like going to a blood bank. I think she is storing blood somewhere on ice. To set up this elaborate thing that she died.
Why is she blue in the back of the car then?
Makeup. or a drug.
Romeo and Juliet style.
That's right. Mike, don't drink the poison.
Oh God.
Mike's gonna be upset.
Are you ready to take us to Theory Corner, baby?
I will certainly try. And that's all we can ask for, isn't it, folks?
I think you're gonna do great. I think at this point in the show, like, what, you can't possibly guess the different routes that we're gonna take, and who's gonna end up where,
Well,
and why.
Strap in. Welcome to Theory Corner. Welcome to Theory Corner.
Thank you.
Huh?
I'm so happy to be here.
Me too. Seriously, I'm just at a loss of like what this could be. Both being stuck by future knowledge and then what happens in this episode. Then I'm like, what could possibly be the thing that's going on here? We'll go through my best guess. Because also, Mona looks in the mirror and goes, "Game over, Allison, I won." That's the whole thing that
Was
complicates
Allison in the
this.
room?
Because I'm wondering, like, if Allison was the person that came to Mona's house to do this. Like, there was the hoodie, and it's a setup, and Mona's not dead. You would think that Mona would be in on it. Not that Allison was either trying to scare her. Is Allison actually holding her somewhere, and actually she's alive and is like trying to get information or something out of her, and that's why she didn't want to kill her? Or maybe just Allison doesn't want to kill her but wanted to scare her really bad, and they got a big scuffle. But then that wouldn't explain the large amount of blood and like glass and stuff everywhere. And we've really run out of blondes, unless Cece's back, or there's Melissa there in a blonde wig
I was
under
gonna
a
say
hoodie.
wigs.
Yeah.
Lots of wigs.
Yeah, and it could even be one of our male characters.
We used to have Allison masks, so maybe we have
Allison wigs, totally. It could have been Lucas coming in there. So I think the Allison stuff that we're taking now, that Allison is A, is going to be wrong. Or no. We'll go back to my the theory I had last night, and I'll stick with this for now. Allison is A and took over from Mona. Like, correct, did that. And that A has been a way for Allison to manipulate the friends to push them to try and find the person that is after her, that she doesn't know what it is. So it's a manipulation, but it's not related to, it's only related to the murder, in that Allison's trying to use them to find out who came after her and what this scheme is, and that the murderer is still out there trying to get her. Okay. And that everything she's doing now is a act of self-preservation. She doesn't know what to do about Mona. Mona's on her suspect list. So of course she's going to try and court all the people that are in the hate club to join her. All the friends turn their backs on Allison, so Allison needs backup. And so these are all acts of self-preservation, and always has been. And so it's been extremely wrong of like taking over A, but it's an opportunity for her to save her skin rather than actually torture and do things to the friends. And that would maybe help explain like some of the like connections with Cece and Fitz in the back, going all the way down that way. And also we know now that she has a good connection and dirt on people and is able to use that to her advantage. So that's my best guess. So another alternative theory, this maybe isn't as much on mine. It's mostly the Mona looking at the camera and being game over Allison, is that her and Allison are actually working together. And that this has all been crosses on double crosses on double crosses to try and smoke out the actual A who is after Allison.
Got it.
and there was some sort of detente or like apology that Allison gave Mona that seemed to have worked for Mona. But again, I don't know.
I guess we'll have to find out.
Boy, it really does like just blow things up in a compelling way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I really like that. So, oh yeah. So, actually, we'll go back. We'll exit Theory Corner for now, and we'll wrap up the episode. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you. I tried. We'll see. But I did want to mention, so we had the Betrayal mid-season finale.
Mm-hmm.
Then, what was the Fitz one?
I don't remember what it's called, but
I'll find it. But there was a name for this one too that was really funny. Fatal finale.
that was this one.
Mhm.
Love it. That's the hashtag, you mean?
Yeah, hashtag. I'm gonna find the Fitz one.
Fit with Fitz.
The Fitz soul.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. Hold on. Pause for dramatic effect. Did they not include that on here?
I don't remember there being one for that one.
Incast. I don't think they listed on here. They changed up the wiki for season 5, apparently. Well, okay. Fine. Anyways, all right. We'll move away from that. But that was quite a fatal finale. I'm going to be really bummed with less Mona around. I don't know, man.
I'm keeping my mouth shut.
Toby's a cop.
I know.
Mona's dead.
It's going to be okay.
Why don't I even watch it?
Caleb's back.
Yeah. Caleb's been fun.
Her software slays.
Her software does indeed slay.
And your software slays.
Well, thank you. Same with yours.
Thank you. Well, final thoughts. Anything? You good?
We'll see where we go.
We're still here.
Oh, so you can find this podcast on all your audio podcast platforms of choice at Dead Ends. You can also find us on YouTube at dead_ends. You can also write into us at deadendspcast@gmail.com and leave a comment on our YouTube. We like talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
You can also leave a nice review for us over on your audio podcast platform. And, tell your friends, subscribe. And then when we eventually get back to Let's Plays, I'll plug it here. But otherwise,
perfect.
That's it. But you can catch up on the archive via my link tree. There's other ones there. You can go watch. I really think we did a good job. I think our Outer Wilds Let's Plays are really great. So you can go watch those. But we're still here. We're going to find out everything. But with a little sadness in our hearts. Mona.
We'll miss you, Mona.
Miss you most of all. I do find it. I was just cackling that it's like Mona replaces Jesus in the manger. She died for their sins.
Well, and maybe. We'll see.
She'll rise again.
Yeah.
Which one do you think is doubting Thomas? Hannah, touch my sores.
I don't know. I was going to say, do you think it'd be Hannah because she was betrayed the most?
Right. It's the one. Yeah, actually, okay, now I
actually,
have
it's Arya.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Final thoughts. I did like the little glimpse that we get in Mona's like home life with her mom, who seems to be very protective of her. Also, doesn't seem like her dad's in the picture, and Mona does extremely have the energy of I was raised by a strong single mother.
Mm-hmm. She got shit to do.
That's right. All right, but that's it. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.